What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I would like to talk about how the Atlanta Falcons can end the playoff drought. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for your continued support, continuing to share out my content on all the social media platforms. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can donate to my Cash App, which is the $ Jew Talk Sports. And if you would like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I stated, in today's video, I do want to talk about how the Atlanta Falcons can end the playoff drought. As you know, the Falcons did go 7-10 for the second season under Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot in this new regime. We have missed the playoffs the last 5 seasons. We haven't made the playoffs since 2017. And I really feel like the biggest Achilles heel for this Atlanta Falcons team is the trenches on the defensive side of the ball. I've talked about it numerous times here on my channel. You guys know that I'm huge on the trenches, both offensive line, defensive line, and that's where the games are won and lost. If you've been watching the playoffs, the teams that are still standing in the NFC, the Eagles versus the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, and the AFC side, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs, all 4 of these teams are good in the trenches, especially on the defensive side of the ball. All 4 teams pressure the quarterback. All 4 teams are solid on defense, good tackling teams, physical in the trenches, are good at stopping the run. And that was the Falcons' biggest weakness, or that was our Achilles heel in 2022. We didn't get off the field on 3rd down. We didn't do a good job of tackling in certain situations, and we didn't do a good job on 1st and 2nd down of creating negative plays and playing on the opposing team's side of the trenches. If you want to be a good team, you have to play, oppose your will in the trenches. As we know, the game of football is won and lost in the trenches. That's why they say football is a game of inches, because you have to be able to control the line of scrimmage. Usually the teams that control the line of scrimmage are usually the teams that consistently win. And that's what we're seeing, especially on the NFC side of things, because the Atlanta Falcons are in the NFC. If we want to be one of those teams that are a contender moving forward, if we want to end the playoff drought in 2023, Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith, they're now on the clock because the Atlanta Falcons are now out of cap hell. You have money to go out and get the necessary pieces to build this defense the proper way. You have the opportunity now to bring in a new defensive coordinator due to Dean Pease retiring. So this is going to be a very interesting offseason to see what defensive coordinator we actually sign to a new contract. And it's going to be very interesting to see them go out and be able to bring in free agents for the first time, because the Falcons have money. You can actually go out and build this team the way that you see fit, both Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith. And I'm very interested to see if they can build a successful defense. We've struggled with that since 2016, 2017. We haven't had a consistent pass rush. We haven't been able to stop the run. And that's been the Atlanta Falcons' Achilles heel. So if this team wants to make the playoffs moving forward, if you want to be a team that's going to compete with the Philadelphia Eagles, compete with the 49ers in the NFC side of things, you're going to have to build a defense. If you look at the Dallas Cowboys that played in the NFC Championship game, they also have a solid defense. Dan Quinn has built a solid defensive line, and they brought in the proper players to actually help their team continue to build towards championship level. And if the Falcons want to be one of those teams that are competing with these top defenses in the NFC and the top teams in the NFC, you got to be dominant in the trenches. Now, I do think that Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot did a solid job of working with the offensive line and building this offensive line, but we're going to have to re-sign those guys like Caleb McGarry, like Chris Lindstrom. We're going to have to bring these guys back to continue to develop and be that physical team. But on the defensive side of the ball, we still leave a lot to be desired on the defensive side of the ball. That's been our biggest weakness. And I really feel like if we can correct that, if we can go out and sign the proper players on that defensive side of the ball, and we can go out and draft the proper talent, I really feel like this Falcons team is not really far from being a playoff team. To be honest with you, I could see the Falcons being a playoff team as early as next season if they go out and bring in the correct players during this offseason and during free agency. But now, as I mentioned, the pressure is now on Terry Fontenot. The pressure is now on Arthur Smith. You had 2 seasons because we didn't have any money, to kind of lay the groundwork and the foundation for what you want this Falcons team to be, which is physical in the trenches. We are a run-first team, similar to what you see with the 49ers, similar to what you see with the Philadelphia Eagles. Both of those teams are running teams as well, and they throw secondary to their running game, and that's the same thing with our Atlanta Falcons. Now that you have the money to do what you need to do, it's going to be very interesting to see if these guys can build a successful defense, if they can bring in the correct defensive coordinator, because as we know, it's not just about having the right players and putting those players in position to succeed, but it's also about having the correct coaching. If you don't have the correct coaches, we've seen, not having a proper coaching, how that can affect teams as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what this Atlanta Falcons team do. But I do think to end this drought, this playoff drought, this 5 consecutive seasons of missing the playoffs, we got to build this defense. We got to get this defense up to championship level. We have to build in the trenches. We got to be better on first and second down. And if you want to do that, you got to continue to build this defense, build that front seven, to build that stout defensive front where you can go out and pressure guys. I'm not big on necessarily having, the best secondary, because if you look at the teams that are still standing, you do have, guys in the secondary that are solid as well. But my philosophy mainly is build from the front to the back. You have to have those guys up front, and you build from the inside out. You have to start at the center of your defense and work your way out to the corners. We already have AJ Terrell, and to me, we have some solid guys in the secondary already if Casey Hayward comes back. So I really feel like you don't need a lot of pieces as far as it comes to the defensive backs. I really feel like the Falcons are lacking on the defensive line in the front seven. You can bring in possibly another linebacker as well, because we are young on the linebacking core. So maybe you bring in another linebacker as well, re-sign Rashaan Evans. But the defensive line is really where we're lacking. So with that being said, you guys let me know what you think of the video. But I definitely think if you fix the trenches, if you fix this defensive line, this Falcons team could definitely be a playoff team as of next season. But with that being said, this has been your boy Jew. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.